Hello, it's me, Tokkuri Yashi. We are back again for another new character. This time it is the Salasaria Hiyori. So let's jump in there and have a look at their banner, see what we think of this character, have a look at their skills, what her priority is to be summoned, and what impact she's going to have on the game. So here is Hiyori's banner. And the game has recently updated, which means the mod loader for the translation patch needs to be updated as well, which is why we do not have English translations at the moment, but we will prevail. Anyway, Hiyori's banner, she is a permanent character, which means she will be put in the pool of characters for every banner upcoming. But how many of you out there who didn't summon for Iroha, for Sono, for the ceremonial Chica, have actually summoned them since? Probably not many of you, so there is a chance, but it's not going to be high. Her banner is here though till the 30th of September, which means no new characters until next month, which may involve something to do with Zombieland Saga, but we will see. Maybe not the main story. Anyway, that is for the future. A long banner here. So let's have a look at this image of Hiyori here. We can see she's a booster character. She's dark. She's a physical character. And she sits in position 291. Now that is just behind Vikala and the Commander Makoto. Just in front of the Commander Eriko. So somewhere around there in the middle of this dark physical team. Her loop pattern, skill 1 is her first action. And then, well, a pretty simple loop pattern there, 4 actions, and both of her skills are used one time within that loop. So let's have a look at her skills then, in a bit of detail. So first of all, let's have a look at this Union Burst here. Now this Union Burst inflicts heavy physical damage to one enemy character in front of you, 6 times physical attack, single target damage there. If the target's enemy is in damage over time, the number of hits of this damage is increased. So this line of the passive did confuse me a little bit, because if you have a look in your carry notes, it says if they're in damage over time, do action 2, if not, do action 3. Damage is the same for both of them. All I can think of is here, what it means by number of hits is increased, is that the damage will stay the same, but it will maybe count as 2 hits. This will build her up faster, as we will see. She does gain extra parts of her passive the more hits that she does, so I think that is what this means here. In addition, she will grant all Dark Allies continuous HP recovery and continuous TP recovery. So that's all Dark Allies will be regenerating 3078 hit points a second for 18 seconds and getting 10 TP per second for 18 seconds. Then, the final part of this Union Burst, if you have acquired Salasaria Step, she will then inflict additional heavy physical damage, single target, 3 times the physical attack. How does she get this Salasaria Step? Well, let's move on to her skill 1. That is where she will get that Salasaria Step. So here is her skill 1. And we can see here that this will greatly increase the physical crit hit rate of all Dark Allies above 120, slightly increase the damage of all physical crit hits by 10%, recover hit points moderately to all Dark Allies there, 19,173 hit points, and here we go. This is where increasing the number of hits, not necessarily the damage, will benefit this Hiyori. After using this skill for the first time, she will start after the start of the battle, every 10 hits will greatly increase the physical attack power of all allies with the dark attribute up to 10 times. So that's 4,272 physical attack for all dark allies permanently, 180 seconds stacking for every 10 hits she does. So you can now see why increasing the number of hits will benefit Hiyori with this part of the passive. And then furthermore, when she deals 100 hits, she will gain this Salasarian Step mark, which will last for 180 seconds. And as we saw with the Union Base, that will allow her to do an extra addition of physical damage single target. When she has this up 100 hits though, how long will that take? With that line on the passive for the Union Base, extra hits, but not extra damage, that's where that is going to be useful. So let's have a look then at the skill 2 because it is also irrelevant here. So this skill 2 inflicts heavy physical damage to one enemy character in front of you, single target it 3 times. Physical attack slightly lowers physical defense, that's 214. If the target enemy isn't in damage over time, again like the Unibest, the number of hits of this skill damage increase. Damage does stay the same, but like again, the more hits she gets, if it counts as 2 hits, then she will be building up faster for that skill 1, building up the stacks of attack for the team faster, getting to that Salasaria step faster with these extra hits. If you have not got Salasaria's step yet, so at the beginning of the battle, before she's done those 100 hits, she will slightly recover the TP of all Dark Allies by 50. When she has done those 100 hits, gets that Salasaria step mark, she will slightly increase the damage of all physical allies during physical attack, crit hits, and recover a medium amount of TP. So that is a physical damage buff of 15%, and all allies TP 200 now instead of the 50. The crit hit buff is not permanent, it's only 12 seconds, but you can see how gaining extra hits when the opponent is in damage over time will be beneficial to this Hiyori. How are we going to get that? Well, Violet. Violet is most likely going to be a tank for this dark physical team. She kind of stores her damage up. She doesn't do it all immediately. It is damage over time. So Violet is going to work pretty well with this Hiyori, giving it extra hits to build up the number of hits to get the extra parts of her passive. So there we go. That is the SA Hiyori. Where does she fit in the game then? And what are the characters? Is she like? Is she similar? Is she going to be better? Do we want to be summoning for her now? Or maybe do we want to be skipping? So now we have seen Hiyori's skills here. Where does she fit in the game? Are we going to be summoning for her? Well, the character on the dark physical team that she is most like, that she is competing with here, I believe it will be Vikala here. Vikala does give TP to allies. She was the TP booster really for this dark physical team. Vikala here does give more TP to start with, but then once Hiyori gets her SA step up after the 100 hits, Hiyori will give more TP to the end. It seems to be very similar to, say, Sono and the Sumikasumi in terms of their attack boost for that water magic team. However, looking at a bit of testing for this SA Hiyori, it does seem like her damage is a little bit better than Vikala, but overall results are very marginal. If you run a team with Hiyori in it, it will do a little bit more damage, but not much more damage than if you take Hiyori out and put Vikala in on that team. Maybe they will be designing bosses for Cloud Battle which supports or are a little bit better for this Hiyori, which is something to bear in mind. But I think she's only a very, very marginal improvement over Vikala on this dark physical team. She does work very well with Violet, however, being a permanent character. I think this is one of the characters that maybe, however cute she might be, is a high consideration to skip to save some jewels for what will be coming up in the future, and then hope that we can get her on another banner as a permanent character, or maybe they will give us her in 6 months or a year with another ticket if they are that generous. So there we go, that is SA Hiyori, stepping on the toes of Vikala a little bit. Works pretty well with Violet on her damage over time. Let me know what you think of her. Good luck to anyone who is summoning for her. I'm Tokkuri Yashi. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again for another video. Bye 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 bye. Hey!